In this video, you're going to witness some real engineering kung fu. No AI here, just raw stock metal, hand tools, my own 2 hands, and my voice. I'm going to show you how to craft a custom gas range nozzle wrench out of a simple copper tube. My name is Stanislav, and welcome to the channel. Alright, let's get to work. This isn't just another tool. The goal is to build a nozzle wrench that usually costs about $4. But this isn't your average wrench. It's a 7mm socket wrench. I have a 7mm hex key, but it's a non-standard size and you won't find it in a basic tool kit. Odds are, you'll only need this once in a lifetime, so I designed it to double as a lanyard bead. For the material, I'm using a standard copper tube. I'll show you how to turn it into that 7mm socket that's never around when you actually need it. The inner diameter is too small for the hex key to fit. And that exact difference in diameter is where the whole magic happens. I'm marking the length using my calipers. Locking it tight in the vise and sawing it off. I'm filing down the heavy burrs and leveling the edges with a flat file. Then I clear out the inside burrs with a round needle file. Now, I clamp the hex key in the vise and use a hammer to force the tube onto it, deforming the metal. The rough shape is set, so I'm moving over to the anvil. With light, steady strikes, I'm forming sharp edges to the depth I need, making sure the piece doesn't slip off the mandrel. Time to check the fit on a spare nozzle and the one on the stove. For a large burner, I'm satisfied with the result. But what if the burner is small? On the flip side, I'm forging another 6mm hex socket to fit a standard wrench that everyone owns. I'm forging it right onto a 6mm hex key at a random spot. I'm not worried about aligning the faces perfectly. I'll only use this side once or twice in my life, so a perfect match isn't critical. Under the hammer, copper acts like modeling clay, but getting those crisp edges still takes some sweat. The copper deforms heavily during forging, so I'm cutting back the big lumps with a file and finishing with a fine needle file. So, I've got the shape, but it's smooth, slippery, and looks a bit plain. I'm blacking out the surface with a marker where I'll be adding a textured pattern. Next, I'm marking the area for the threading, if you can even call it that. I'm choosing a relatively flat section where there are no forged faces. I secure the piece in the vise and use a jeweler's saw to turn those marks into grooves. Once I've gone all the way around with the saw, the triangular needle file takes over. It makes the grooves deeper and more defined, setting the stage for the next steps. I measure the circumference with a strip of paper to decide how many pattern elements I can fit. I mark the next spots, starting with simple dots. Using a piece of cardboard as a flexible ruler, I connect the dots diagonally, skipping every other one. And there's the pattern. I'm clamping the piece into a hand vise. It's the best way to hold small parts quickly at the right angle. Drop a comment below and tell me how you secure small parts during work. Do you use a hand vise or do you have your own secret? Now back to the bench vise, and using the same method, I'm sawing along the marked lines to create a pattern that also adds some serious grip. First, I cut the grooves in one direction, then the other. Then, following the same plan, I deepen the paths with a triangular needle file. After the rough filing, I'm cleaning up the surface with sandpaper. I use a flat file to smooth out the deep dents on the forged faces. Sanding again, and repeating the process on the other side. The deformation was heavier here, so I have to file back a bit more metal. The wrench is ready, and now comes the moment of truth. Can a copper tool handle a seized, factory-installed nozzle? Stick around until the end to find out. I'm using a screwdriver and a 6mm bit extension. I can't budge it by hand, I have to be careful here. I'm changing my grip to use both hands, this takes some serious torque. Look at that, the nozzle gave in. Now we clean off the carbon and grime, and the stove is like new. That flame is going to be much stronger now. The wrench works perfectly for both removing and reinstalling the nozzle. Testing after the cleanup, everything's working, and the flame is burning way brighter. And that's the tool I built today. Subscribe for more. This is where engineering thought creates beauty at home. There's much more to come. This is Constructor Stas.